Feeling 30 here. Like and subscribe. Okay, unfortunately, I have been drugged to a very cold place. I've only seen, 3 black people since I've been here?
Told you there weren't many. Didn't lie.
So I don't understand why people... I don't understand why people like to stay in places that are very cold, because this is ridiculous. There's nothing to do here but to sit in the house and drink.
Drink, eat, and go shopping and spend money.
Yeah, this is very depressing. We did get a chance to see a little bit of the Andrew Tate interview, and so just want to see what her thoughts are on some of these subjects that Andrew covered.
There has not been, in the history of humanity, across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female, ever. Ever. You name the biggest conquerors that you can possibly name from history. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, Big G, conquered the world. Normal. That is normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be.
I do understand this premise. Like I have said before, this is a 1% conversation. Yes, he's talking about the conquerors that came through and the great rulers. They had many wives. They had created a life around them. They could afford that. But for the average fighting soldier and for the average commoner that was also a part of that era, do you think they had multiple wives? Do you think they were impregnating multiple women? Probably not, because they were probably just barely getting by with whatever they were doing to take care of themselves. I think some of these conversations are 1% to 2% men conversations, and that a lot of men are trying to live that life without having the assets and the lifestyle to afford that. He also spoke about women being promiscuous. Do you think women should be promiscuous?
I don't think that they should be.
A man sleeping with a woman is female, and a female is sleeping with a male are two different things as far as the emotional aspect that's involved. For a man, more of a cheating aspect is having
more of an emotional relationship.
More of an emotional relationship with a female, because
than physical. Yeah, and you're letting them in on more private things about you that
possibly
if they just slept with you, they probably wouldn't know.
But for a female, and this is not all females, because I have ran across some females that are more ruthless than some of the guys as far as that. But for the average female, females like to talk about this emotional tie. But I would say a lot of the females I've ran across, once they decide to sleep with a guy, if they're not completely drunk or something, then they do like something within that guy. Mm-hmm. Where a guy can just like the way a female look. I don't know.
Could just be a notch in his belt too. Just kind of like,
for guys it is, but what I'm saying is that for a female.
For a female, many females I think would expect something after a text, a phone call, a little bit of follow up.
Yeah, and that's not, and guys, that's not what guys about. Guys just want to hit and quit it. I know that's terrible, but that is really is like, I see you when I see you. But the late night texts, a lot of times I would say come from more guys, and they're just basically throwing the fish net out, throwing the nets out to see who's going to bite.
Booty call?
Yeah.
For a woman to find a guy who's truly on a level, who truly treats her the way she should be treated, that's once every couple years.
I would say that statement is true too. Guys are simple, but we are also picky to a degree. And a guy will be with a female because sometimes a guy just is lonely and it's easy sex. But is that guy truly in love with that female? When a female actually finds a guy that's truly into her, she checks off more boxes than none than any other female. That is rare for a guy to run across this. A guy can be attracted to a woman because of the way she looks, but for him to be really attracted to her personality, that is very rare.
I think that's true. And I don't even know if a guy would be lucky, or a female would be lucky enough to run across somebody like that once every few years. I think that a lot of people aren't even lucky enough to find that in a lifetime.
But you also have to understand that those people aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. There's still things that you're going to have to work on. And a lot of people want this so-called fairy tale, especially women, and men too want this fairy tale person that doesn't exist. You're going to have problems, you're going to have challenges, and the thing is that if that person checks off more boxes than less boxes of what you're looking for, it makes it more willing for you to work on those challenges and work through those challenges.
And they're willing to. They love you enough to work on stuff.
Obviously, back then, for survival, women needed a man. Otherwise, when they were pregnant, they could die, and all of these things, they would perish. In today's society, given evolution, given the fact that as women we can go and get, men. Yeah, but I'm not saying that. Isn't there a glitch between what is actually happening and the nature of what we have in our bodies? I think that's probably the conflict that we're having right now.
Glitch in what way?
in the sense that women don't feel like they need men in the most physical sense, perhaps
that's
like
right.
naturally.
It's very interesting. Women don't feel like they need men in a physical sense because life is soft. So you look at humans from a societal perspective, but society has changed, right? So let's say 200-300 years ago, if a woman got pregnant, she needed a man to survive. If that man didn't take care of her during pregnancy, she was going to die. She couldn't work a job, she couldn't hunt, couldn't fish, whatever, right? A woman literally needed that man for survival.
So I do see these conversations quite a bit, and this is actually one of those Kevin Samuels talking points. And to be honest with you, I do agree with this, and a lot of women may disagree on this. Women live in the world that men created, meaning that all these luxuries that allow a woman to quote unquote be by herself and not need a man was created by men. All the power grid, the roads that you drive on, the houses that you live in, the cars that you drive in, the jobs that a lot of women are going to work at were quote unquote created by a lot of men, and it has made society softer for not just the women, but it's also made society softer for men. I think that's why, to a degree, that a lot of older men, especially the older generation, look at the younger generation as being soft. There's so many luxuries that men don't even have to learn how to truly be men. They don't even have to learn how to truly fix stuff. Back in the day, if you wanted a house, a lot of times you helped build that house. My grandfather helped build his own house. Now you pay somebody else to do it. If he had to fix something on the car, he fixed it. He didn't take it to a mechanic. A lot of those things that made men back in the day have been taken away from the younger generation to learn how to do this type of stuff. But also on the women's side, it has made women more independent because yes, a woman can buy a house, can go out and work a job and make her own money and make her own lifestyle. And to her, it's like, what do I need a man for other than to procreate?
She doesn't even need a man for that.
Yeah, and doesn't even need a man for that. And so I understand how that process can come through for women. But if you truly go back to what they say, quote unquote, what a man's role is and a female's role is,
balance.
It's a balance.
They need each other to balance.
I do need a man, for example, to procreate. But other than that, I'm quite strong, and I would find a way to protect myself differently. With that mentality, what would be the man that would be for me then?
Denava, what would you do if one of these security guards broke into your door?
I'd play dead, one, and then if not, maybe I would kind of like be very gentle and comply to find a way to get out.
So with this is actually pretty funny because you did have one night a man walk in. It was you and your girlfriend, and you all were in a hotel room. For some reason, his key worked to y'all's door. He was drunk and came to the wrong door, which was y'all's room. You woke up and there was a man standing over top of both of you guys. He wasn't being malicious in anything. He was wondering why there were two women in his bed, but he was in the wrong room, correct?
Right. Yes, he was so drunk. He didn't know where he was, and we didn't know what was happening.
And what did you do?
I played dead. I mean, that wasn't really my plan, but I felt like I was so panicked I couldn't talk.
She thought that nobody was going to take advantage of a girl that wasn't moving. So she played.
Get the loud one that's screaming at you.
You're talking about equality equaling respect. The way you get respect as a woman is by being feminine. There's nothing, we can be equal and very, very different. I'm not saying that where there's not equality, but you've confused equality with the same. A woman can have equal respect to a man if she is very good at being a woman, and a man gets respect for being very good at being a man. Men and women are good at different things. We have different strengths, different weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with accepting that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm a woman, I'm good at X, he's a man, he's good at Y. Then we work together as a team, we have a beautiful family, we're happy forever.
That is true. And the thing is that until you've actually lived that, until you've actually been in that situation, in a good relationship, in a healthy relationship, you don't understand what that entails. The only thing right now that I think people are seeing are the disadvantages because they've never seen the advantages of a good relationship. Other than that, like and subscribe. Thank you.